It wasn't just an album. It was a revolution in sound, a cosmic journey through madness, time, greed, and the meaning of life itself. Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon didn't just break records, it bent reality.
Look around, choose your own ground.
It echoed in dorm rooms, car stereos, headphones, and across generations. It stayed on the charts for decades and in our minds forever. This wasn't music to dance to. It was music to question everything you've ever known. Every note, every heartbeat, every whispered voice dared us to look inward, into the dark side of being human. So buckle up. This is more than history. This is the story of a sound so powerful, it never stopped playing. Welcome to the dark side of the moon.
The four of us were there, and there was a discussion about putting the album together and making it into this themed.
1973, a new sound is born. March 1st, 1973. Rock music is evolving. Vietnam is winding down. Nixon is in office. And Pink Floyd, a band once known for psychedelic jams and experimental sounds, drops something entirely different. The Dark Side of the Moon is not just a collection of songs. It's a concept, a statement, a mirror held up to the modern world.
It's probably the most recognizable album cover of all time.
Something that you can sit and look at for a long time without getting fed up with it.
Themes of madness, time, greed, death, and isolation swirl together in one continuous, immersive experience. It wasn't made for radio. It wasn't chasing hits. Yet it became one of the best-selling albums in history.
The album went straight to #1 in the Billboard chart and has since sold over 45 million copies worldwide.
Over 45 million copies sold. Why? Because it spoke a truth no one else dared to whisper. Madness, mortality, and modern life. At its core, The Dark Side of the Moon is a reflection of the human condition, our fears, pressures, and inner chaos. The album doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, it confronts us with the realities of mental illness, aging, death, and the crushing grind of modern life.
That we then turn into three-dimensional, real maquettes, all the way down through the different layers to the golden box.
In Brain Damage, we're taken inside a fractured mind in homage to former bandmate Syd Barrett, whose descent into madness left a lasting impact. Time is a stark warning. Life slips by while we're busy waiting. And Us and Them questions war, division, and the way we dehumanize others. Roger Waters' lyrics were not just poetic, they were painfully real. This wasn't fantasy or escapism. It was therapy through sound. Each track explores what it means to live in a world that's moving too fast, pulling us apart and making us question everything. And that's why it still hits so hard decades later.
Also, one of the themes of the lyrics, which was, I think, about ambition and greed.
Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way.
Voices from the Edge. One of the Dark Side of the Moon's most haunting elements isn't the music, it's the voices. Scattered throughout the album are real, unscripted interviews. Random people from Abbey Road Studios, crew members, even the band's roadies answering deeply personal questions. When was the last time you were violent? Are you afraid of dying? What does madness mean to you? These weren't rehearsed responses. They were raw, honest, and strangely poetic. Some laughed nervously. Others revealed emotional truths without realizing millions would soon be listening. These voices float through songs like On the Run and The Great Gig in the Sky, adding a deeply human layer to the album's existential themes. They make you feel like you're not just hearing music, you're listening in on life itself. In a world drowning in noise, these quiet, unguarded moments remind us that behind every sound, there's a soul. Time, a song that haunts generations.
Waiting for someone or something to show you the way.
From the first chime of the clocks, time grabs you and never lets go. It's not just a song, it's a revelation. The track opens with a jarring collage of ticking and alarm bells designed to make you uncomfortable. Then the lyrics hit, and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking.
And you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking.
Roger Waters delivers a brutal truth. We waste our lives waiting to start, waiting to matter, waiting for a moment that never comes. David Gilmour's guitar solo here is iconic, searing, emotional, drenched in regret and urgency. This isn't just a reflection on aging, it's a wake-up call, a reminder that time doesn't slow down, and if you're not careful, it'll pass without ever truly living. Generations have listened to Time and felt seen, shocked, awakened, and inspired to move before it's too late. Money, the hit that was never meant to be. It starts with the sound of cash registers and clinking coins, familiar yet unsettling. Then that unmistakable bass line kicks in, and you're hooked. Money wasn't supposed to be a hit. It was meant to mock the system, not top the charts. But ironically, this anti-capitalist anthem became the album's most popular single.
Is the root of all evil today.
With its saxophone solo, biting tone, and unforgettable hook, Money wasn't just a track. It was Pink Floyd's sneer at society, wrapped in a danceable disguise. The band in perfect balance. Roger Waters was the visionary, the thinker, the lyricist. David Gilmour, the soulful voice and guitar master, whose solos became emotional peaks. Richard Wright, the keyboard wizard who brought atmosphere and depth. And Nick Mason, steady behind the drums, holding it all together. In Dark Side, they were a perfect unit. Their egos hadn't yet clashed. Their ideas were aligned. This wasn't for musicians, it was one mind. For many fans, it was the last time Pink Floyd felt unified. A Legacy of the Stars. The album spent more than 950 weeks on the Billboard charts. That's over 18 years. No other album in history has done that. It became a rite of passage for teenagers, a soundtrack for lonely nights, existential crises, and late-night road trips. It even synced eerily with The Wizard of Oz, creating a pop culture myth all its own. From vinyl to CD to streaming, Dark Side of the Moon never left, because every generation finds itself in it. Pink Floyd didn't just make a great album. They made an experience, a philosophy, a legacy, and on the cover, a simple prism refracting white light into a rainbow. Clean, mysterious, perfect. Just like the music inside. The Dark Side of the Moon isn't about darkness, it's about the light we forget to see until the music reminds us.